I just want peace. You know, the opposite of war. If Goldbug really wants you dragged in so bad that he's declared open season, the other Autobot warlords are going to hear about it, and they'll want you too.
It feels odd to poke holes in this memory that my former second-in-command clearly adores, but he needs to hear it. What you saw as a great moment, I remember as the first time I was arrested. The rest of the miners got off easy, but I was trotted out in chains by officers, one of the first examples they had of what happened when you did not stay in line. I can't be what you're looking for, Starscream. It must be unforeseen damage to my voice box that makes me hesitate. I'm not the leader of the Decepticons anymore.
I have no right to ask any more of you, Megatron, and I know that. But we are scattered, living as if Cybertron is nothing but an abandoned junkyard for Decepticons. We cannot exist without a leader, and I know of no one else the Decepticons will rally behind like the bot that saved our lives. What if I told you that was no longer theoretical, Megatron? What if I told you that we can use what I have inside of it to wake the Titans? We can take back Cybertron! It is a strange feeling, not being alone. Especially in an Autobot stronghold like Gold City. I've grown used to being surrounded by nothing but threats, potential threats.
No, Starscream, I wouldn't say you're paranoid. Dramatic, yes, but not paranoid. The city knows we're here, and our disguises, if we can even call them that, do nothing but stall the inevitable. But if Autobots find out and keep hunting us, then other Decepticons will find us as well. And the more of us that join the fight, the better suited we'll be to protect the package you carry.
Megatron is right. His words are a simpler version of the very argument I made in his home. It is not his fault I'm torn. We're in the right place.
Speaking of hiding, I'm astounded that he's managed to stay low.
I'm not afraid to see familiar faces. Not these ones, anyway. It does hurt to see them, though. They are reminders that soon I'll see others. It's impossible to do what he does in the middle of nowhere.
Is that so?
But this is a revolution. This is a mission to take back Cybertron. It's not about me.
It's been a long time, Ravage.
Not gonna lie to you, Commander. Thought you were dead, until I got told otherwise. You too, Scream. We kept helping the boss keep tabs on folks, but it was hard without the two of you. Not that he'd admit it. He just spends all his time making sure any of the Decepticons he can find are okay and not alone. Nobody on his level's been around to check on him, you know? We was trying to find out how to help, but then he heard from Scream. He told us we had work to do.
As long as a single Decepticon is out there, someone's gotta watch out for them. That's what I'm here for.
We could try and reach out to Decepticons we suspect are still alive and loyal to the cause, but with the price on my head, we don't have time. Fortunately, we do have Soundwave.
Welcome to Decepticon Radio.
During the war, Soundwave was the top morale officer. There was no way to prevent the trauma of war, but he did everything he could to try.
Decepticon Radio.
All of the former soldiers that are around need to know they're not alone. I stay on a secured frequency, sometimes reaching out or just making sure I know how everyone's doing.
Good. Your network may be the best way to get our word out.
To be clear, there are bots I won't ask. You don't know the traumas that some of them are holding on to like I do. I want to tear down the Autobot autocracy as much as you do, but not at their expense.
We wouldn't ask you to.
Good. I won't regret already reaching out to the Seekers for you. Consider it a personal gift, Starscream, from me to you. Now that that's out of the way, there are more Decepticons still out there than the Autobots would have you think. And even those who aren't ready to take to the streets for the cause still believe in you two. I've already been thinking about how to best utilize
Soundwave puts on a voice, a performance, that he occasionally drops. I've been trying to do the same since the war began. Soundwave, you are very good at your job, but you are no good to anyone if you wear your gears smooth and burn out. When was the last time you stepped away from the radio?
It's been too many cycles to count. Couldn't risk not being there when someone needed me. I step away, and that's when one of our soldiers hits rock bottom. I can't be responsible for that. Anyway, everyone is buzzing about the big ol' light show you caused out by Metroplex. If you did what I suspect, figured you could use a few more friends.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that, Jetfire?
Yes, but I also see that we have 2 more meetings about fundraising before we can finally relax today.
I know, but...
We've got more important things to do than gape at miners breaking the law.
No, don't you see? That's the problem.
With our struggle to get funding for our research.
It's the lack of respect for who we are as Cybertronians. We've turned into nothing but a bunch of barbarians masquerading as civilized. We want to excavate a Titan, Jetfire. Can you not see how that relates to how we treat miners?
No, I really don't. Our work makes a difference.
You can't possibly mean that.
No, I don't. I'm just exhausted by the number of doors that have been slammed in our faces today. But you're right. The core of our work is how we understand Cybertron and our history. And I'm hoping that the next bot we speak to understands that.
They have to.
So as you can see, Orion Pax, we have every reason to believe that Metroplex is merely inert. Our group's donation would go a long way in allowing us to test our hypothesis.
I already know what I need to know. Starscream and Jetfire, academics, who have been studying culture and linguistics as it pertains to the Titans. You've been searching all over Cybertron to get some organization to back you on burying at least Metroplex's head so you can speak to him. Your mistake has been focusing on academic funds. I think you're right. Being able to communicate with Titans could really change the planet. Change what power looks like. I can get you both funding, as much as you want, if you can get results. The one issue is the dissemination of your discoveries. Not everyone is built to understand what you're doing.
Excuse me?
Starscream, shut up, please.
And who exactly would we be reporting our research to?
Does it really matter?
I'd heard rumors of the shadows encroaching on our government, wearing the chrome of the soldiers and senators we'd given power. How those like Orion were stealing our freedoms because they thought they deserved it. I hadn't believed it until then. I think this conversation is over. We will still need to recruit more of us.
And we will. This is merely the first wave.
Right. And once we're done gathering, and we've figured out how to utilize this code, we need to make a statement.
And you are so eager to be sprouting rhetoric again, Starscream?
Look at Cybertron, Megatron. Cities that were once bastions of philosophy and government and creativity have become back alleys run by warlords and tyrants. So many of us are tired, angry, with no way to fuel and focus our frustrations. If the masses hear from you and me, I think we have a real opportunity to turn more Cybertronians to our cause. Not just Decepticons, but maybe even some Autobots. Speaking of which, the suspicious glances we got on the street are certainly more hostile now.
I noticed.
If we get caught here now, we...
Starscream, has it occurred to you while you were so busy thinking of what's to come, we were already at war?
I don't... That's always been my problem. Why I am fortunate to have Megatron to follow. I look forward to the future so much. I can never see what's happening in front of me. I told you we'd do it!
I've lost count of how many times, in fact.
Are you not excited to get to work today?
We were here yesterday.
And we'll be here tomorrow, and the day after. That isn't exciting to you?
I'm not saying that, Starscream.
Then do me a favor and bask in our genius for a moment.
Fine. Okay. I am relieved to finally be digging up this Titan instead of begging for money to pay for the excavation.
Relieved? Relieved? I think we can all do a little better than that. Imagine the headlines. Jetfire and Starscream break the communication barrier with Titans. We will be lauded for changing how our planet functions. There is so much history and knowledge in this magnificently forged dome. On second thought, The headline should read Starscream and Jetfire. It's more euphonious.
If you don't back up Starscream, I'll euphonious you back to your original hotspot, I swear.
There's the Jetfire I know. Much less grumpy.
Have I been grumpy?
I understand, of course. We had to fight to get anyone to hear us. They thought we were chasing a dream, the impossible, that we needed to forget our pasts and move on. But soon, even brutes like Orion Pax will see why everyone needs access to our history.
Yeah, sure.
Just when I thought I'd gotten you out of your slump. What is it?
I've been working on the code to translate Metroplex's thought speech for what feels like kilocycles. But what if this takes longer to crack than we think, Starscream? What happens when we run out of funding?
I'm not doing this again. The more evidence we have, the more funding we
could have settled this if we just...
I'm not giving Cybertron's history to the bot who wants to destroy it.
He never said he wants to destroy it. He wants to...
control it. And those that want to control public access to our history and culture are called tyrants. I'm not going to give our work to a tyrant.
Fine. No more Orion talk.
Promise me. At least with Blaster, I know he uses his spies. I don't have to worry that someone else has betrayed me or broken a promise.
Y'all trying to have a party without me? Ain't there an old story about what happens when you don't invite the biggest and baddest to the main event?
Blaster, you've got it all wrong. There's no party here.
Ain't that a shame? Fortunately for you, I always bring the party with me. Alright, bots. Looks like Megachrome and Seekers on the menu tonight. Word from GCHQ is whoever brings them home gets double the contract price now.
I almost feel honored. It's been a while since my importance was truly appreciated. I'm gonna get...
You will get back. Starscream, incoming.
As always, I am ready when Megatron calls. Even when things get messier than we'd like.
Starscream, you're mine!
My arm! Watch yourself, Starscream.
The warning is sweet.
You strike me as someone who can't handle the bass.
Ah! Considering I'm already in trouble.
For the star of the show, you fight like an opening act.
You will not touch her.
Ow!
Starscream, go now. All of this is useless if you're captured.
Megatron! Loyalty is complex. Every part of me wants to stand by Megatron's side, but following my loyalty to fight alongside him would mean being disloyal to the mission he'd assigned to. I have never been fond of these complexities. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Why did I leave when he told me to? I can't do this on my own! I'm so tired of being alone.
Our current theory is a conduit. A drive can communicate to the Titan. I was promised more than a theory. You'll get it. Few bots can handle the power surge, but Starscream's going to plug
You
in.
mean your Decepticon partner?
He's not. Who is there?
Speaking of a corroded tailpipe, look what we've got here.
You were saying something about him not being something? Stop it! So he heard us. So what? He's not an Autobot. And if he's not an Autobot, he's a Decepticon.
And we have ways of dealing with Decepticons.
He's not a Decepticon. Starscream may talk a lot, but he's the most trustworthy, loyal bot I've ever met. He's with me, and he won't cross that line. Tell them, Starscream. Tell them.
Trustworthy.
Tell them you're not a Decepticon, Starscream.
Loyal. I'm no Decepticon. We had a very different understanding of what loyalty was. The Decepticons are fighters, fighting against the Autobots, taking our work and destroying what they can't control. You want to talk about trust when you're okay with that? I trusted in who we are and who we should be. So I may not be a Decepticon, but I am no Autobot. And you, Jetfire, turned your back on us all. On me.
Why you?
I didn't feel the punch. He'd already melted me to my core. Still, there was a moment when I thought he might still be the bot I thought he was. Where I wasn't alone in a room of monsters. When I am alone, I cease to care. Cease all thought. My body moved in spite of how heavy my spark felt. My background processes functioned even when nothing else did, and I ran. The only thing I knew was that I was alone. And if I was alone, I couldn't protect Cybertron. My foolish dreams of Jetfire and I bringing back our planet's past, sharing it with the world. I was the one who destroyed it. I knew if I didn't, they would. I wasn't strong enough to finish. I thought I could erase the past in one fell swoop. But I believed in Cybertron and my life's work. Somewhere in the words of the Titans had to be the solution to our problems. I ran out of time that day. Perhaps the Decepticons would have won the war if I hadn't acted like an Autobot, determined to destroy everything I couldn't control.
Starscream! Don't do this! If you just work with us!
With the data upload interrupted, my attempt to bind our work to my spark was left corrupted, both on my end and at the site. All of it. Nothing more than mangled coding that not even Jetfire could put back together.
I want him found, and I will bring him to Orion. Do you hear me?
I barely made it away without being captured. It felt like I left half of me, corrupted along with Jetfire's code, back at the site. I've been accused of being melodramatic many times in my life. This time, I believed I earned the right to my misery. I didn't return to Metroplex until after the war, at least a megacycle later. I'd heard the Autobots attempted to use others to communicate with the sleeping Titan, but no other sparks were strong enough. I'm an academic at my core. I've read all the great works. I know there is an irony in my spark being the only one strong enough to run this program, when it feels so very broken. My self-imposed isolation after the war gave me time to re-examine the corrupted code inside of me. It took untold cycles, but finally, I figured out how to bridge the gap between myself and what I'd left buried in Metroplex. I unburied the past. I bound my spark to what remained of Cybertron's past. Let it fill in the gaps of my past. Every part of me screamed in agony. Every part of me sang in harmony with the words of a Titan. Everything I believed in, everything they wanted to take from Cybertron is now in me. Megatron warned me about grandiose fantasies about the future. But the present is just as dangerous. Please let it be the other Seekers answering Soundwave's call to arms. Nope. That flight pattern, those footsteps, they're too familiar.
It's Megatron's mouthpiece. I forgot how ridiculous you looked.
Blaster got distracted.
I'd rather it this way. I don't have to pay you.
I don't do this for the money, Goldbug.
Why bother when we've got a way bigger prize right here?